What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Prop Wiz. I'm your host, the Wiz. Okay, I'm a little bit late with this episode. Just finished watching episode 8 of the Ahsoka series. I didn't get to see it last night when it aired because I was chosen to be in this Ghostbuster fan film playing Winston. I got the job because I was probably the only black person they knew. No, I'm just joking. But anyway, that was super duper fun. Ended up doing that, so didn't get a chance to watch the episode last night. First thing this morning, went ahead and knocked it out. And my review and thoughts, overall, loved the episode. I've been loving the series. I made no secret of that. And it was no different with this episode, which was the final episode, episode 8. Also titled Part 8, real creative. Look, all positive vibes. Everything that happened in this, man, got to see Ezra in action. Well, we got to see him in action earlier using the Force, but this time we got to see a lot of lightsaber action. Man, looking like a Jedi, yo, top-notch Jedi. And of course, they dropped a few jewels in here, specifically when he was building his lightsaber. There was some head nods to Kanan, as well as highlighting what kind of Jedi Ezra is. Just seeing how he's mastered, the basic Jedi skills. And then, again, even in some of the fight scenes, even more so. Some of the main highlights from this episode, beside that, what I mentioned with Ezra, was probably Morgan becoming one of the Night Sisters, or given the power to become one of the Night Sisters. I'm assuming she didn't have the red guard, but she had all the face tattoos. Pretty cool, man. It wasn't really on my radar initially. I think I said in the earlier episode that I knew that there was going to be a battle between her and Ahsoka, because we know for a fact that, the real life actress, her real life father was best friends with Bruce Lee. She herself is a martial artist and a stunt woman, so it made sense that that she would have some kind of fight scene, and they did deliver. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Rewind a little bit. She was given some powers, some Night Sister power. She was given some kind of sword. Don't know the history of the sword at all. I'll probably look up some stuff to see if there's some Star Wars lore already out there, or maybe it's something new. But real cool. They magically made some sword, appear out of thin air. They had a name for it. She looked like she was excited to get it. Dope. Some of the other highlights were how the stormtroopers, I think they called them Death Troopers at one point. Actually, I think the Death Troopers were a separate group of people. But with that being said, they did kind of highlight the stormtroopers, how the Night Sisters were able to bring them to life, making them zombies. I had already questioned before, because they had the cracked armor and the look, whether they were already these zombie-like stormtroopers to begin with. Like maybe they died when Thrawn flew in or something, and maybe they were already like that because they already had the red wrappings that was similar to what the Night Sisters were wearing. So I don't know. I'll probably have to dive back into the episode. In fact, dive back into the whole series to kind of break that down to see if I see something that maybe I missed. With that being said, they did show a scene where the stormtroopers were fighting Ezra, Sabine, and Ahsoka. Of course, the Jedis end up winning, killed all the stormtroopers. Night Sisters bring them back to life, and they were more zombie-like. So that was the only thing that put a little bit of hole in my theory that they were already zombies, because when they did die and come back, I felt like it was more obvious. They were moving like actual zombies that you would see in a zombie movie. Anyways, dope. It was a new challenge for the Jedi. They acknowledged that, something they had to face. Got through it pretty quick, pretty easy. I didn't feel the danger. We kind of knew what the end game was. We know we got Thrawn. We know we got Morgan to deal with, so we kind of knew they were going to get past that, but it was pretty cool just to see, and just adds an extra layer to this Star Wars thing. So basically, we had these 3 Jedis that had to move through the temple to get to the top of the temple, which is right under the Star Destroyer, in order to get onto the Star Destroyer. So that particular mission, because I knew they were going to get to that ship, didn't happen the way I thought it was, so we got a little bit of a win, and we got a little bit of loss. Long story short, Ezra did make it onto the Star Destroyer. We kind of showed the Sabine, using her Jedi power, just even in the earlier scene, they kind of hinted towards, but they still did this thing where all 3 Jedis had to open this door using the Force. You had these 2 other powerful Jedi, so you still wasn't sure if Sabine was using the Force, but she ended up using the Force later on when she loses her lightsaber. The classic grabbing the lightsaber, pulling the lightsaber towards her thing using the Force. Dope. Wasn't sure if I was going to like it, because I really didn't feel like she needed to have the Force. I don't know how I felt about her having the Force, and definitely not by the end of this season. But with that being said, they already foreshadowed that, right? They kind of showed that she didn't have the Force. She was trying to use it. Ahsoka made it clear that it was important that she learned to be connected to the Force. So I guess with that being said, it was foreshadowed, it was predicted. They had to do it. I already know Star Wars are going to be mad. Just to make it clear, I'm not one of the people that's mad about it. I don't know if I was super excited, with that thought, but I definitely wasn't mad, especially when I saw it happen. They decided to do it. The way they decided to do it, I felt like it was executed well. I'm along for the ride. So that Force usage equaled her using the Force to actually push Ezra onto the ship. The ship ended up being too far from the temple. He had to jump to the ship. He was able to jump, halfway, and she was able to Force push him the rest of the way. Cool use of the Force. So Ezra made it on the ship. Sabine, Ahsoka end up not. They did this little technology thing where they made us think that Sabine might have left, but she ended up staying to fight with Ahsoka, which now leaves us with the fight between Ahsoka and Morgan. Dope, epic, knew would be. I will say just a little bit of critique. I could definitely tell the difference between the actress that played Morgan and the actress that played Ahsoka. Morgan, again, martial artist. I could see her movements. Ahsoka wasn't bad, but in this particular scene, I can kind of see that old girl, a stunt woman. She knew how to sell the movements a lot more. Very, very small. Thought it was worth mentioning because I'm a geek like that. But with that being said, the overall fight was dope. Ahsoka's fighting Morgan. You got these stormtroopers surrounding them. Sabine shows up, knocks some of them off. Ahsoka beats Morgan. Dope fight scene. The Night Sisters on the Star Destroyer confirmed that yes, Morgan is dead. They were able to sense it. She's dead, so it seems like she's gone. Ezra's on the Star Destroyer with Thrawn and them in hiding. Ahsoka and Sabine was able to get their ship, follow the Star Destroyer to a point before the Star Destroyer goes into light speed, leaves them behind. They're now stuck on this planet. Basically, that's everything that happened. I mean, you probably came here for a summary, right? That's what you guys wanted. Nah, you guys wanted the review. Here we go. What I thought about it. Again, overall, positive. Overall, the series was positive. This was a cool ending to it. The only thing is there was a lot of setup, and it was very, very obvious that this whole series was a setup. They gave us a fight between Ahsoka and Morgan. Again, I predicted that in an earlier episode, knew that was happening, but I did think we were going to get more between, a battle with, I thought there was going to be a little bit more. So even Baylan Skoll is out doing his thing. They showed him again at the end of the episode. It does look like he was looking for these old force yielding temples. It looked like he did find them, but there was no conflict, no interaction with him, his apprentice, and the heroes of the episode. So that's a clear setup for another show. Unfortunately, again, Ray Stevenson, we know that he passed away. So it sucks knowing that he didn't get to finish that storyline out. They probably are going to recast it because it's definitely evident that his character is setting up something big, probably for season 2. Thrawn looked like he's going to be for something else, and we probably kind of already know that's going to happen. He's probably going to be more involved with the Mandalorian stuff that's coming down the pipeline. Again, I'm saying that because Thrawn, with Ezra on the ship, he's got the Night Sisters, he's got all these stormtroopers. They made it back to the galaxy that their home. Ahsoka, Sabine is still on this planet with Baylan Skoll and his apprentice. You got all this temple lore, so it looks like that's the setup for the next Ahsoka. Ain't the worst thing. Again, it was just kind of, it was so obvious. I don't have the feeling of a finale. Like, yes, it's over. We got one cool battle, but it was very, very Empire Strikes Back like. And I don't think I'm used to that Empire Strikes Back for the first, season or first movie. It always feels like a second act or second movie kind of thing. So I'm critiquing it, man. I don't hate it. I'm trusting these guys. I'm excited on where it's going to go. It's just one of those things when you sit down, like I'm going to get some, finale. It didn't feel as much as a finale as I had hoped, though everything in this episode was dope. So that's it, man. The only other thing that I can think of that might have been missing was like I was really hoping to see the reaction of the Senate, not just Hera, because Hera's been saying that Thrawn is coming back, that this is a possibility. I was really hoping to see the look on those people's faces, the doubters, their faces when Thrawn showed up, and we didn't get that. Again, not the worst thing in the world. They did show Ezra show up to Hera. Cool little scene. Reunited. He's saying he's home. We got another dope Jedi in the universe. Oh, by the way, they did show Anakin one more time. I thought that was cool. He was a space ghost, a force ghost. Why I say space ghost? Super dope. We do know that he died in Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi happened before this. So we got a better version of Anakin. I know some people early on when they were talking about making this show, they thought they were going to see an Ahsoka versus Vader. Vader's gone, y'all. But we got a dope episode, episode 2. We got a dope scene with him, and we got a little, shout out at the end of this. Again, as a Force ghost, she's on this planet. maybe he's something we're going to be seeing in future episodes as well. So that's dope. That's my thoughts. That's my review. Anyways, who cares what I think? Let me know what you guys think. Leave me some comments down below. If you like the video, please hit that like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe. As always, I love you guys to death, and I'll check you out next time. All right? Peace.